What's good, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media sites. Guys, we got a good one for you today, boys and girls. About to be a fun episode. We've been scheduling this from all the way across the world, but we finally making it happen. Today, people, I have a very special guest to you. I've interacted with him on Twitter. I see him. He's got them strong opinions. You know, I like people with strong opinions on the show. Everybody, give it up for MC Fixer. Woo! How you doing today, sir?
Clap. I'm here. What's going on, dude? Thank you very much for having me. You're right. We have had some back and forth on Twitter, getting to know each other there. And yeah, I suppose you did sum me up perfectly there, right? Strong opinions. Very, very strong opinions.
Hey, man, I am here for it. So, MC Fixer, just in case, for the people at home, in case they don't know, which they should, especially if they're across the pond, but just in case they don't know, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name's MC Fixer, not Mick, not Mac, just MC Fixer. Full-time content creator on platforms such as Twitch and YouTube and obviously TikTok nowadays and all those other platforms where you gotta be. I've been doing it now for about 7 years, creating content. I'm probably best known for my Xbox podcast, My Xbox and Me, which is now 304 episodes in, never missed a week. It's we've had Ryan McCaffrey on, we've had Greg Miller on, we've had AC Bongos on, so we've had some of the big names in the industry on the show as well. But yeah, I just create content, man. That's all I do, and people either love it or they hate it. It's one way or the other, and I've sort of just been grinding it out like everybody else, like yourself, like just taking it day by day and just sort of building and building.
Most definitely. For those who don't know, if you listen to the show, of course you know, but it's a grind out here. It's a grind out here. I tell you, people, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you see those people like, I worked really hard for 6 months and got hired, I'm just like, don't expect that, boys and girls. For our people out there, you know who I mean when I say my people out there. Just know you might be in for a long haul, but don't worry. Sun always shines. Comes in the morning. But this ain't church though, so we ain't gonna get into that. But what we are going to get into today, this week, we're going to be talking about our favorite games of the year. Yes, people, it is officially August. We're halfway through 2021. Bruh, I know y'all, we're making it. We're making it. We ain't out the woods yet, but we're making it. But before that, Halo Infinite had, its tech demo. It's beta. It's whatever you want to call it. Everyone wants to call it a fancy name now. I'm just going to call it what it is. It was a tech demo over the weekend. Fixer, were you able to get in?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't able to play it myself. My co-host Crash, he played it, so we did a deep dive on it yesterday for My Xbox and Me. So I can give you his opinions, formed with my own opinions, and then we can sort of meet somewhere in the middle of what I think of everything.
That's good because I didn't get in, but my friend did, and I went over and played what I kid you not was maybe 5 minutes, and it was like, nah, bruh, you're up. Technical issues, it's down, it's over. And I was like, all right, cool. I got 5 minutes in his opinion. So I'm gonna meet you in the middle hard. So
nice.
But before all that, I want to hear your opinions on this new current trend that I'm calling, the revival of the handhelds. If you haven't been paying attention, boys and girls, we got the Switch OLED, which was disappointing. We got the Steam Deck, which was not so disappointing. We got the Playdate, which is just interesting. And we got all these other little trinkets that are still coming out. Do you feel that the revival of the handheld market is, now, or is this just a trend that people are trying to ride because, Nintendo could do no wrong?
So it's a weird one for me because I was really big into handhelds when I was younger. Like, obviously, my first ever gaming system that I ever had was a Game Boy. You remember the big yellow Game Boy? I had that with Tetris on it and obviously Mario. Remember loving that as a child. And then my first ever console that I ever purchased with my own money was a PSP. So I've been into handhelds my entire life. But as I've got older, and I guess become a little bit more introvert, I don't leave the house. So handhelds to me, I'm like, if I go out the house, I am grabbing my phone and listening to music. That is my number one thing to do if I leave the house. If I gotta get a bus or if I gotta get a train or whatever it may be, I'm listening to music. We've got 2 Switches in the house. My fiance's got one. I've got one. I hardly use the thing, honestly. So I'm seeing this trend of like, the Steam Deck and Stream. Is it the Stream? No, Stream Deck is Stream Deck is
Okay,
Elgato. Steam
yes.
Deck. Steam
No.
Deck is Valve's thing, right?
Thank you. I've missaid that name so many times at this point. I just don't even care anymore.
Yeah, I'm at that point as well, honestly. But I saw that getting announced, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I was talking to my chat, and I was like, do I need it? And they were like, you don't leave the house. Why would you buy this? And I'm like, that's a really great point. And with xCloud being a thing, we're in a weird place right now where I feel like a lot of game companies know that if they put out the right thing, they can win in the industry. And they've seen the success of the Switch, obviously, gangbuster numbers. But the reason why the Switch is so successful is because of its software, not because of its hardware. The Switch is not a great machine, in my opinion, in terms of what it can do raw power. That's why we're all clamoring for this 4K Switch that never came, unfortunately, and we're all now crying. But yeah, it's a weird one for me where everyone seems to want to get in, except for Sony. They're not coming back. No way.
Not even gonna entertain the idea.
I don't think they will. What do you reckon?
If they were smart, they would, because I don't know if you remember, it was about 2-3 months ago, people were clamoring about the Vita again for one reason or another. I don't know if it was the anniversary or what was the main cause, but everyone was talking about it. Everyone was talking about how, it came out at the wrong time. It was ahead of its time. Time. And I know Vita owners love their Vita. If someone legit owned the Vita, they never have anything bad to say about it. I unfortunately didn't until when its time was already over, and I just needed to play, I was trying to play Demon Blade, Mirror Monsters Demon Blade. I was trying to play something else only at the Vita at the time, so I had to borrow one from a friend, get the game, on sale, do that whole thing. I was like, hey, not that bad. I wouldn't have bought it at the time because, I didn't have my own money like that, not to be dropping on a handheld.
Yeah.
But Sony's been out of the conversation of gaming, not out of the conversation, but not in the conversation that everyone else has been in the conversation in a sense. So I feel like if they were like, hey, we're bringing a Vita back or some PlayStation portable device that's the successor to Vita, I think, enough people will buy it on name alone, regardless if it was actually going to be good or not.
Gee, but is that the right place for them to be putting their efforts and their money? Is my thing. I owned a Vita twice. Blame Greg Miller 1000% because I had no interest in this damn machine. But listening to him talk about it, listening to the way just the whole Vita world, just everyone, I was entrenched in it, listening to Podcast Beyond. I just hear it every day, Vita, right? And I was like, Joe, I'm gonna go buy one. Bought a second-hand one without a memory card, took it home, started playing Final Fantasy, and didn't realize it had no internal memory. Went to go buy it. I'm a liar. I don't think you could even play a game without the memory card. I think and I was like, do you know what? I'm already annoyed. And then I remember playing Persona 4 Golden on it because everyone was talking about how great that was. I'm not really into JRPGs like that. I'm dyslexic, so reading is a big construct in terms of gaming. I played it. I'm like, man, I should not have bought this. So I bought this £80 Vita with a £25 memory card that's 8 gig with Persona while it's on sale. And I'm like, I shouldn't have bought this. I shouldn't have bought this machine. What was I thinking? And that doesn't mean the Vita was bad, because of course I don't think it was. But from a first party front, it was kind of bad. And I think that's where my point is when it comes to me not wanting Sony to get back in. They're doing such a great job first party wise with the PS5. They're not going to commit in the right ways to another handheld. Just look at PSVR right now, right? We get a couple things here and there, very small. But other than that, it's like, third party, you deal with this.
Here on the show, I like to give everyone a track for success. I don't like to present problems without solutions. So here's the surefire way for Sony to succeed with, let's just call it the Vita 2 for simplicity.
Cool. Okay.
They make the Vita 2, and they fix two problems. One, they're back in the talk about handhelds because that's hot right now, like you said. Regardless if it's the right move, it's hot. So boom, you say the Vita 2, and you do what Nintendo has always failed to do. Because Sony is usually kind of good at listening more than Nintendo. You put all those old PlayStation games that's hard to get on the PS5 on the new Vita 2. Boom.
Yes.
All you got to do is port them. The data file, whatever you call it.
Or emulate, stream, whatever they want to do, however they want to bring it across. That's a good idea. That's a good idea in terms of like I'm a huge Resident Evil nerd, and like the only way to play Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, the OG games, not the remakes, obviously, is either through emulation or I bought one on Vita, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm like I'm not pulling out a Vita to then go and play that again. So that's a good idea. Imagine it was PS1, PS2 games. Yeah. Maybe even if they could handle it, PS3 as well.
I feel like with today's technology, PS3 is not out of the question.
Yeah, of course.
The DS plays some games I did not think it could play.
Yeah, I mean the Switch plays anything on it, and I'm surprised it works. So you know, I'd be interested. I still don't think it would be enough to get me to buy in again, especially with Game Pass and just everything new. I'm not really about old games anymore, especially doing what we do. Like people, unless you are focused on old stuff and that is your genre of what you do, old games are old. People care about the new. They want to click the new. We got to find the trends. That's kind of what my job has become, which is it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. I think there will be enough market there because I mean, if Game Pass has taught us anything, as long as it's a good deal, people will go for it.
Yeah, but that's on software. I don't think we've seen that with hardware. Yeah, like the only reason why I bought a Switch. I remember buying a Switch, my first Switch, right? I didn't really care. I'm not a Nintendo guy, and I was like, "Do I really need this? Do I really need this?" The only reason I bought it is because I saw it in stock, and they were out of stock so much that I was like, "Oh, I have to have it." And that's how they sold me on the Switch. It wasn't because of its raw power or the software. I was always going to buy one for Mario Party because that's my game. That's my game. I love Mario Party. But other than that, I'm like, I can wait. I can wait on all this other stuff.
All right, here we go. Vita 2 with classic PlayStation streaming pass.
Yeah, but do you need a handheld to do that at this point?
I mean, you don't.
Go on.
But
you don't need it. That's my point. And we all know that you lose money on hardware usually, right? Like. Right. You lose money on hardware to acquire the customer to then make the money back off of software. So I'm at the point where I'm like, then they might as well just put out they might as well rebrand PlayStation Now to be what we all want it to be, which is like a competitor to Xbox Game Pass, and then they do their own version of XCloud in a way. Like all these options are there. Do we need another handheld to do this? I don't think we do.
Nah, we definitely don't. Sony needs to do something. But even, you know...
Sony just sold 10 million consoles, so we don't need to do nothing.
You got me there. You know what? I want Sony to be like, you know what? Every first-party game is delayed, which we already knew that was going to be true, especially after Horizon. Like, I don't know why people believe in release dates anymore. I really don't. I just need release windows. But like, this game might come out next year. I want the release to, like, the release date comes and goes. Maybe next year. Maybe not. We'll see.
I really like the way Bethesda did it with Fallout. Do you remember when Fallout 4 came out? Where a case of like we didn't really hear too much. There was whispers there was happening and stuff, a few leaks here and there. But then they got on the Xbox stage, and announced it and was like, yeah, it's coming in 6 months. I love it when companies do that. Don't get me wrong, delays can still happen, but I haven't had this whole lead up to I'm excited. Oh, it's delayed for another 6 months. Like at least if I found out it was coming in 6 months and then a month down the line, like actually we've got to push that to 5 or 6 months more. Like, oh, well, now I've got 6 months or a year to then get built up again. But God of War, we knew that was going to happen. Horizon, I knew that was going to happen as well. Like, it's one of those ones where you're just like, are you being disingenuous to the customer, being us, by telling us dates that you know full well you're not going to hit? God of War, we saw a splash screen and they tried to sell us it was coming this year. Like, stop it.
Oh man, one of my favorite things is like we all don't like Nintendo at times because, you know, it's the abusive relationship that we all love to never leave. But I will say this, at least when Nintendo announces a game, it's coming out usually when they say it is. You'll never hear about it and they'll just be like, yeah, this month, tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not a Nintendo guy, so I watch the Nintendo Directs and stuff, and half the time I don't have a clue what's going on. Like, generally, I'm sat there, literally, I'm usually waiting for Mario Strikers, or I'm waiting for Mario Golf, which came out and was okay, or I'm waiting for Mario Party. Those are like the games I wait for nowadays, or something Nintendo. Sorry, something Pokemon related. I'm sitting here, I just see all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. Okay, all right, cool. Nintendo being Nintendo. All right.
You know, more and more I keep finding people's like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with Nintendo. I don't really play those games. I'm like, man, I finally found a batch of people. I finally found out.
I own them and I buy the consoles and stuff like that because, again, I think for me, I like to have an opinion on everything. And I'm very much a person, as I've been told, you're a very opinionated person. Okay, I'm like, all right, fine. But I don't like to go into things without information. So you'll never catch me talking about, I don't know, some of these crazy Nintendo games that come out, like, whatever, insert name of not big brand as JRPG here. Like, this just doesn't interest me. But if I'm going to talk crap about Smash Bros, I'm going to have at least played Smash Bros. If I'm going to talk crap about Mario's Golf, I'm going to at least played Mario Golf. I hate people that they jump on the internet. Don't get me wrong, you can give an opinion of like, oh, this doesn't look very good. But it's the people that have hard opinions. And I'm someone that has hard opinions, so I get it. But you can't have a hard opinion if you've not played the damn game.
Oh, most definitely. You know, and I, for one, I kind of love when I'm wrong. For example, when It Takes Two showed and people were like, oh, it looks like the best game ever. I was like, this is like a so-so co-op game. Like again, when it was first shown, I was like, whatever. And then I played it and it was amazing. I don't, like, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I went in hating the game. I was like, man, look at this little girl. Man, your parents getting divorced. Grow up. It's the real world. We all dealing with that.
Nah, I'm sitting there playing it with my fiance, and we're both like, she's in a broken relationship. We need to save her. Like, we're sat there ready, like, learning. We're like, we're invested in this. And you're just there like, ha, they're breaking up. What are you going to do about it? I'm like, damn, dude, you're a hater.
I am. I'm not gonna lie to people. I'm playing it. I'm like, man, Cody, you a bum. Do you even have a job? No wonder you getting left. Man, she making all the money. You trying to garden. But as anyone's playing the game, I'm like, yo, these levels kind of fire though. Yo, this story though. Yo, did we just God of War an elephant? Oh my God. It's a great game. But yeah. You know, when I look, I was like, man, this okay. In my defense, no one, even if you thought it was going to be good, no one thought it was going to be that good. There was you really?
Yeah, because I played A Way Out. I went to a press event for A Way Out, and I played A Way Out all the way through. And that was, I think it came third in my game of the year that year that it came out. And that wasn't even as technical, like, wasn't as good as what It Takes Two is. But just from what we saw from Joseph Fares in terms of, like, camera angles, the way he wanted to tell story, like, you could tell this was the first effort. And there was going to be some fine tuning, and there was going to be more to it. And then we got It Takes Two. And again, I haven't finished It Takes Two. I've played like the beginning 2 hours maybe, but I haven't, because again, my fiance's a teacher and she has to be in the right mood to want to play games. So it's one of those games that I'm like, we will get it done before end of the year so we can talk about game of the year. But right now, from the 2 hours that I've played, it's still in my top 5 games this year, definitely.
Bro, you're gonna. I'm not gonna lie. I've had a couple of jaw drop moments in that game, and I still can't believe it. Like my friend I'm playing with, he's one of those guys like all he plays is FPSs. Shout out to the people who only play FPSs. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's all he plays, and he was just like, hey, people keep talking about it. I know you wanted to play it. Let's play it. And we're like, oh, okay. So when he has time, we'll hop online and play it. And we're just like, bruh, this ain't, it's good.
It's good.
But you know what I'm waiting for? I want companies to start being like AAA games. AAA are like big name games, because some games do this, but I want something on the level of, God of War and all that stuff to be like drop a trailer and be like, this game's out tomorrow, and just watch the internet break.
You can't do it. It's the business ramifications of like what comes from that. Like the closest thing we've got to that is Apex Legends. That's the closest thing we've got to them having no marketing, them not announcing the game. They obviously brought out some streamers beforehand, them just doing the whole Beyonce type drop. Apex is the only game I can think of that it was a AAA studio with a AAA publisher that somehow they just knew it was going to work, and it worked.
Yeah. But it was free to play. I feel like when it comes to a free to play title, you could probably do that because
that's why it works. That's what I'm saying to you. Like you cannot Beyonce drop. This is why it works in music nowadays as well, because we've all got Apple Music or we've all got Spotify or Tidal. You've got some version, some way of getting albums, right? That's why it works in music, I think, where in games, you're going to Beyonce drop the game and then go, and where's my $70? No way. You can't do it. It's impossible.
If you're like a new IP, no. But I feel like if you already have like, if they shadow dropped Halo Infinite, you can't tell me people would be like backflipping.
No, but I still think there would be people that say, I'm good. I need to wait and see what. Like, there's more people out there than you'd think that are very cautious with their purchasing decisions, and that's why Game Pass it would work for Halo now because of Game Pass. Again, it's the same thing I just said. It's their version of Apple Music, their version of Tidal, their version of Spotify. But you couldn't just do that off of a whim and just like I don't know a game or a publisher that could take that risk nowadays that doesn't have some version of free to play or subscription service. Like EA could maybe get away with it with like, oh, and the first 10 hours are in EA Play or something like that. But you couldn't just, I don't think no other way you could do it. No way. Games cost too much money to take a risk like that. You want a £500 million budget game to hopefully do well off of its name alone.
I believe, you know what? All right, I think it's time for my segment, tinfoil hat time, since you're not believing. I put on the imaginary tinfoil hat people. I think it could work. If nothing else, I think it would be a great social experiment. All right, I'll meet you in the middle. How about this? You shadow drop the game, but the demo's out, and the demo's like the first hour or so. So at least people.
Yeah, that's a version of free to play though, right? That's still the same sort of thing.
I mean, is it though? I mean, demos are commonplace, not as commonplace as they used to be, but
yeah, but I think there's a couple of franchises I think could do it. Pokemon, I feel like Pokemon could do it easily. I feel like probably Call of Duty could probably do it, even though F Activision right now. But yeah, probably COD could do it. Like you need to be top tier and recoup back all of the money. I don't know, man. That seems too risky. I would never do it. If I was the head of one of these companies, I'd be like, hell no chance. No chance.
Well, my thing is, okay, if you're a person that needs to see if it's good, wait for reviews and stuff, chances are you weren't going to buy it day one anyway.
No, but there was more chance if you buying it day one. Because that's why we get games early, right?
Yeah.
That's why we get the game early, the review drops the same day or a week before. If it's a week before, that builds hype for the game if the game's good. Obviously, if the game's bad, then it's usually the day of, so they can try and hide the reviews. Like, it's an interesting theory. I like the theory. I just no way.
Yeah, I think it's like reverse hype, like you say. In this industry, it's very much like, oh, I gotta have it. I gotta be part of the conversation. Thanks to social media and things, that's a very powerful pool. And I think creating this panic, if you will, for lack of a better term, could work in your favor. But again, I do prerequisite you do have to have some type of notoriety. Like, for example, if a new Skyrim dropped right now, like, the internet would break, people will be, and then, of course, okay, maybe not a lot of people have, like, I gotta wait to payday, I gotta wait to,
exactly.
bills clear.
Then that affects it all. It's like, so then you need to like, okay, it needs to be at the end of the month when people are gonna get paid, and then we're gonna just shadow drop this, and we're gonna hope that they're gonna spend the $60-$70 on it. It's like, it's not that easy, right? It's not always that easy. Like, I get what you mean, though.
Yeah,
I do get what you mean.
You do gotta take the risk, But hey, after we learned that Xbox has never profited off of any console, I feel like anything is possible if that's the case.
That's facts.
Well, speaking of Xbox, so in case y'all didn't know, Halo Infinite had its tech demos. I'm just gonna call it, I don't know. I saw like 80 different hashtags, no lie. And we finally got to see the game. And it looked a lot better. You know what? I'm starting to learn. If your trailer looks like it was made on last-gen software, that's the first indication your game is about to be delayed. If I look at your game and go, Was this an Xbox One? Was this PS4? Horizon looked like it was on PS4. No lie. No shame. I'm just saying it did.
No, it didn't. The Horizon looked good.
Man, it looked like it was on. It looked like it was a PS4 Pro DLC of Horizon, and I'm gonna stand by that.
I never had a Pro, so I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
All right. It looked like this. It didn't. From what we have seen of what PS5 exclusives, or I don't think it's exclusive, but made for PS5, if you will. I felt like it didn't meet that bar. And we're not talking about that, but Halo definitely didn't meet that bar. Halo was like, okay. So I'm going to say my first impression of like the 5 minutes I got to play before we got kicked out, I was like, this looks good. This looks what I would bare minimally expect of what I want next gen Halo to look like visually.
That's fair. Yeah, I think... Again, I could only see what I saw through YouTube, which they did like their not a press conference, but they did a YouTube video thing where they were showing off the game, and I got to see some stills and some images of like the battle rifle and stuff like that. That looks amazing. Like the guns look really clean. The map that I've seen, I've only seen the one map actually. Every time I watch a stream, it's always the same damn map. I'm like, Jesus, there's 3 maps. What's going on here? It looks good. I'm not a Halo guy. I'm a Gears guy, so I'm not a Halo guy.
Okay. All right.
But I think everything that I've seen looks good. And it looks, like you said, it looks kind of how I expect it to look. It looks like more Halo. It's an arena shooter. It looks like more Halo. It looks next-gen enough that I think it's going to get a lot of people excited. It being free to play is only going to help the situation in terms of its multiplayer. And anyone who wants a single player will pay the pound to get into Game Pass if they want just that one experience and then bounce again.
Yeah, most definitely. And the thing that I really like, because I'm the type of person, I'm not the biggest Halo guy out there. I'm not gonna shout at for that people. So if you take what I say with a grain of salt, if you will, just be like, he doesn't understand the magic. But of course, because of how we grew up, of course I played Halo 1. Of course, Halo 2 multiplayer blew my mind and spent countless hours there. Halo 3, I finished the fight. Halo 4, I was like, all right, cool, I'm in it. I started to see the wear and tear of the franchise. Halo 5, I was out because this is not a problem unique to Halo. As long franchises are hard to keep up because you have to maintain your identity, but also not keep up with trends, but hardware and things and technology gets better. The longer Halo went past 3, the less to me it felt like Halo. Everything that made Halo great, it started to be this is now an imitation. Every FPS was trying to imitate Halo, and then Halo 4 and 5 to me was trying to imitate those FPSs that were now popular for not the best, especially 5. It was like, I'm doing things I would find in Call of Duty, but now in Halo, and I'm like, but those are 2 different games, I play Call of Duty for a certain feeling, I play Halo for a certain feeling. I don't necessarily need those games to cross their beams, so to speak. And then even in, as Halo went on all these things, I was just like, I understand it's a cultural game. It's, one of our industry's greatest achievements. But, it's starting to drag its feet. It's going to have to do something like, in my mind, was like Resident Evil, like, reboot itself in some way. And so now I'm happy that it's a soft reboot. Like, I don't know where the story's going, but clearly it's probably going to ignore some things from Halos 1 through 5. I don't think the story's going to be that tight. But playing it, I was like, okay, this is giving me that sensation of the first Halo, of Halo 2. It's doing things that Halo does, because I really thought the grapple was going to kill the gameplay. I was like, oh, God, that's just something.
It doesn't, though, right?
No, it doesn't.
I heard it adds. I heard it adds a lot to the game.
Oh, yeah, it truly does. And I was happy about that. It wasn't, they took care. It wasn't just like, oh, okay, grappling in games is cool. We're just going to, add it and, it's going to be a second thought. Like, it seems like they built the grapple and the world around it with the grapple in mind. It wasn't just like, okay, now you're going to grapple to anything and how it works out is how it works out.
It feels to me that this Halo, and again, I'm not someone who played, or it's funny, yeah, so I've actually played all the Halos and beat them, but I don't remember any of them. So that's not even me throwing shade. That's not even me throwing shade. I have the achievements on my Xbox. I had Master Chief Collection, so I've definitely played 1, 2, and 3. I remember 1 the most because I remember obviously being able to go back and forth in the graphic art style. But I couldn't tell you what happens. I couldn't tell you about the story. It's just not for me. And everything that I've heard about 4 and 5, it's always been mixed. Always been mixed feelings, right? I feel like Halo Infinite could be 343's first win with the franchise in a big way. Like, obviously we know what Bungie did with the series and how special it was then. This feels like 343 finally figuring out what they want Halo to be. And from what we've seen so far, it looks really, really good.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I always believe developers when you say, they're trying to do something, they're trying to, remake, get that feeling, because we all know making games is hard and things of that nature. And so when they delayed the game, and I saw them when the company was like, we spent hours, literally, like you said, painstakingly making sure the guns looked amazing. They showed off the battle rifle and other things.
Yeah.
And I can clearly tell these people care about Halo. Clearly, and I'm just happy from what I saw, how they're talking about it, that I think when a game company understands that, I don't want to say lost their way, but where a franchise is going is maybe not necessarily where it needs to go. Like when Resident Evil 7, where they were like, we've moved away from being scary. When Capcom was able to acknowledge, like, these games have become like action, adventure, shoot 'em up titles, but with like 6 and 5. People feel, and they were like, we're gonna.
Or, excuse me, you say the word 4 there because people want to give it too much credit. You say 4 as well. 4's not scary. 4's an action game. 4 is what? Joe, what? Different story for different. You bring me back home. We'll talk a lot about Resident Evil. Okay?
Speak. Go ahead. Speak your piece. Speak your piece.
Look, Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, 1, 2, and Code Veronica and 3 are fantastic Resident Evil games. Everything beyond that destroyed the industry. It destroyed the industry in one way or another. Nah, Resident Evil 4, fantastic game. Not a fantastic Resident Evil game. Fantastic game. Changed the industry forever. But doesn't make it a good Resident Evil game. And a lot of these industry people, they weren't into Resident Evil like me. I was playing Resident Evil. I was born in 1992. Resident Evil 2 came out in 1996, and I was playing it. I played that game at 4 and 5 years old. So, let me get this straight. People talk about Resident Evil 4 like it's a fantastic Resident Evil game. Play it again. I've beat the game multiple times. It's not. I'm not. Look, I could keep going. But that's fine. It's fine.
All right.
I'm just saying. Saying.
I'll throw forward to the mix, but they were able. Just for the record, I can't play scary or scary-ish games. Last of Us 1 and 2.
Play Resident Evil 4 then. You know that's scary. Play Resident Evil 4. Play Resident Evil 5. Play Resident Evil 6. They're not scary.
Bro, when some big Resident Evil news happens, you're coming back on. I'm gonna let you have your moment.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
But after a series of games, people put whatever titles you need to put in there. Capcom's like, we've kind of lost our original way. We're going to step back and, we're going to make sure we get back going into what we were always meant to be, what our core is. And I'm starting to feel like that because I didn't believe it. I was on the fence, but I'm starting to believe that Halo Infinite could be that title where it was like, 1, 2, and 3. The first 3 are always golden, apparently. And then, we started to do some other things. Halo Reach is amazing, people. I won't talk about that. But everything else, it can get it. And then, so I'm excited. Now, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat so people don't, come in my mentions again all left. But I still think it's a 50-50 chance of this game being amazing or a bust. I don't think this game has the potential to land anywhere in the middle ground. It's either going to do bad, and when I mean bad by Halo standards, it's not going to hit some magical mark that it needs to hit to satisfy the zeitgeist, or it's going to be incredible. I think it's one of those games, it can't be like I said this when Cyberpunk came out. Cyberpunk, after all the promotion, after all the stuff, it can't be that was okay. Like, it's either going to, fall in this realm of it's bad for all these reasons, despite it being good or not, or it's great for all these reasons. And I feel like Halo Infinite is going to have that same, I don't want to call it an issue, but just because you're a good but not great game doesn't mean you did anything wrong. But that's, I feel, is the stage it's going to have to stand on.
I feel like you're 100% right. But what I would say is it's going to be a tale of two stories. I think Halo Infinite's multiplayer is going to do fantastic. I don't think there's a chance that it's bad. I generally don't. Like, we've already seen 3 of the maps. People have played it against bots and are talking about it in such high regard that I don't see how they can really mess that up too much. Like, you've got the gameplay there. And then the story of its story is going to be a different conversation. Because I think a lot of us are wanting different things. Nah. Hardcore Halo fans, it reminds me very much of me in Resident Evil, right? Mm-hmm. Like, with Resident Evil Village. Hardcore Resident Evil fans wanted, or at least I'll speak for myself, I can't speak for everyone. I wanted a story. We see Chris is in it. We want to know about Chris. We want to know about those characters we care about. We don't really care about Ethan, etc., 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 right? And that's not what we end up getting. We end up getting a focused story on Ethan, his family, and blah, 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 blah. And, oh, look, there's Chris. That's pretty much how the game seems as a whole. With Halo, I feel like it's the same thing. I don't care about its story. So I want a fresh take on what Halo is, because I don't have a clue. So for me, I feel like it's going to be one of those things where that story can't win everybody over, because someone like myself, new to the series, let's say, wants a fresh take on the story and to really learn about who Master Chief is, who Cortana is. Like, I don't know any of this information. And then there's going to be hardcore people that are going to be like, we know all this, you're not expanding beyond the story of what you already know. And I think that's where the problem's going to lie, and where people are going to go, okay, this wasn't for me, but the multiplayer is fantastic. Or, that was the best thing ever, but the multiplayer is fantastic. I think that's where it goes.
I mean, you're 100% right. I can't disagree with that in any way, especially with the multiplayer being free to play. That says it all right there. That to me makes it almost 2 different games. You have Halo Infinite multiplayer, one game, Halo Infinite, who cares about a story nowadays, other game. Because, I feel like that's going to be a hard sell for more people than I probably will assume. They're going to be like, oh, if I could play the multiplayer for free, why didn't I ever need to have the game?
Well, I mean, I think that's what Xbox is banking on. It's, you come in, play the multiplayer for free, and then you go, well, it's only $1 for the story if I get it in Game Pass, and then they've got you in the ecosystem, and you forget to unsubscribe from it for 10 months, and you've already given them God knows how much money. Like, this is where the world is going. This is where gaming is going, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, this is what is happening.
Man, I don't know if it's because I'm an old man by gaming standards nowadays, but I'm just like,
how old are you?
I will be 31 this month.
Oh yeah, you're so old, so old.
You say that until I see Joe or Susie Smith at big name outlet, and they're like, I turned 23 today, and I'm like
20. Yeah. I've had that. I'm 30 next year, but I've had that. Everyone's like, I'm part of a couple of groups, and they were like, yeah, I'm 21, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm the old man of this group. So I do get you. Get you.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like in terms of actual life structure, we're right where we need to be.
We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine. But I see those little, how'd you get here? I worked hard for 7 months. I'm not old enough to drink, and I'm just like, good for you. You deserve your position. And then I go drink me some tea. I digress. That's a story for another time. But I'm an old man by gaming standards, and what I really mean by that is, you'll talk to someone who's like 17. They're like, yeah, bro, man, I remember back in the day, my first game was like Gran Turismo 6. And I'm like, bro, get out, out. You're not, no, you're not having this conversation.
My first Pokemon game was Pokemon Ruby. I'm like, oh, what the hell? I remember when Blue and Red was about. I remember. And I ain't talking about no remakes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I play Yellow. I'm like, oh man, did you have to get that on the emulator? Out. Be gone. It's grown man business right here.
Grown man business.
But yeah, so I don't, the industry, I know I do not look forward to today where everything's like digital only. Like, if we ever get to that place where we don't even have systems no more, I mean,
love it. Can't wait.
Oh man, I don't.
I don't have room. I live in London in a tiny, tiny flat. Dude, I just got this gaming PC and I'm just like, bro, I don't even know where to put you. Like, you're just so big and bulky. Like, gosh.
Oh man, we will say. I hope physical format doesn't disappear completely. Like it'll be like one
No,
of those.
I agree with you that.
But
Yeah.
that's for everyone. But enough of that depressing, dark, dystopian future. Let's talk about the games we've enjoyed so far this year in the first 6 months in this great 2021. And just because we talked about it, I'm gonna put already on this list. It Takes Two. It's looking to be. I will not say it will be ultimately probably my game of the year, but if it wins some game of the year, not like best multiplayer, not best this, I mean the quintessential title game of the year, I don't think I would even argue at this point.
Yeah, I've said that again. Once I've beat, I'll be able to say more. But right now, it's definitely in my top 3. I think what they've done with the game so far, I'm really enjoying, and what I know where it goes, that I'm looking forward to being able to experience that in a co-op sense of me and my fiance. It's one of those experiences you don't always get co-op anymore. Like couch co-op, like it's really designed for 2 people, and that's remarkable.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You have any games on your list as of right now? Would you call surprises to you?
Hitman 3.
Hmm.
Okay, and I say that because we all know how good Hitman is, right? Like Hitman as a series, fantastic. 1 and 2, great. Heard so many good things about them. So I'm not a stealth guy. Like stealth games are not my thing. I'm very much a guns blazing, kicking indoors. There's a car alarm that can be set off. I'm shooting that alarm on purpose to set it off. Like that's the way I do things. I want them to run at me and I want to headshot everyone. But I played Hitman 3 and there's a couple of missions on there that I felt so good playing. Like, don't get me wrong, I got cool and there were situations where I get frustrated. And yeah, I did play it very heavy as a shooter sometimes. But that game's sandbox is some of the most fun that I've had in a video game. I'm sure most people have heard of like the second mission in there. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but the second mission is like the film Knives Out, right? Have you seen that at all?
I have.
Yeah, so it's pretty much that. And it's some of the best game design, leveling, and just storytelling in a game that I've played. It's so much fun. I've played it over and over, and I keep finding new things, and I keep finding different rooms, and just different things that are happening. It's like, what the hell? Like, how have we got here? And it can be played in so many different ways. It's just remarkable. And for me to be saying that, someone who's not interested in stealth, that should tell you everything you need to know.
It's interesting. I have not gotten into the Hitman series. Don't know why. It's always been a timing thing for me. Every time one has come out, I've always had like the big other 2 games or something to that effect.
Yeah.
It's because I love stuff. I love Metal Gear Solid. Like,
Oh, dude, you have to play it. You have to play Hitman 3.
I know.
Have to.
Because, people always talk about, it takes forever. And, you got to something. And I'm like, I've laid in a pile of grass for like 30 minutes before. So I can't say nothing about slow and methodical. But.
Yeah, no, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. If I had any surprises, you're gonna think I'm gonna sound crazy saying this. I know I am. I've tweeted this and I know I sounded crazy to some people, especially because this game's only been out for 2 weeks. But Pokemon Unite, I am putting an asterisk by it because clearly it's still in its infancy. But I've played a lot of hours of that game and it is still fun, and it's surprisingly fun. And I'm just like, if Nintendo, the Pokemon company, whoever's in charge of maintaining, updating, I forget the third-party people who help make it, maintain that game, I really think it could be a sleeper hit. I don't think it's going to knock out League of Legends ever or nothing like that. But I definitely think if it keeps on the trajectory that it's going, the way people are talking about, the way people are talking about who play it and other things, it can definitely be in the realm of conversation. In the realm of League of Legends. Of course, it will never knock off any big MOBA. Like, that would be the support it would need to do that is something it would never get. But
yeah,
I'm enjoying it. Like, at the end of the year, assuming the servers don't crash, they don't give it support, I think it could easily be on my list as like the surprise hit category, or maybe even move into like, maybe be a multiplayer contender. I honestly think, again, like I say, it's way too early to tell. It's like when Apex came out. It was good, but will it be great? The answer was yes. So we'll see. It's definitely my to watch.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. And the telltale sign of it being a good game was I played it again with my fiance, and she the next morning woke up and said, "Oh, is this like a timed free game where like, oh, I run out of time, like, so I got to use it sparingly?" And I was like, "No, it's just free to play. Like, go play." And she's like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go make a cup of tea and go in the other room and play." And I'm like, "You don't even know what a MOBA is." And I'm like shocked that you're enjoying it. And everything that I've played of it so far, a lot of fun. We did play one day with like a group of us. That game against other groups is very hard. That needs to be said. Like when you go up against a full team of people who know how to play a MOBA, bro, we got destroyed. Like destroyed. But yeah, overall it's a great game. I really enjoyed it, and I hope it can keep up the trajectory that it has currently. That'd be good. My next one that I would talk about would have to be Final Fantasy Integrated Remake, obviously. Dude, I'm not even a Final Fantasy guy. Final Fantasy 7 got me last year. The remake, and I fell in love with the series ever since. And playing Integrated, I'm just like, oh, just give me more. Just keep giving me more of this game. Like literally, just keep giving me more. The first Final Fantasy I ever beat was Final Fantasy 15, and I played through all the DLCs for that, and just really enjoyed my time with it. And I remember when 7 got released, and I'd played 7 previously, but like I said, I'm dyslexic, so reading those type of games back in 1998, I think, whatever it was for me, was just like, no, there's no chance, like, there's no chance I'm going to be able to actually beat this. So playing through this version of it, where it's fully VO and I can just experience the game, I'm like, wow. And the DLC itself, I'm like, oh, okay, you've added more to this world that I wasn't expecting, because I don't know these characters. And everybody else knows these characters, but I don't. And then getting to learn about these characters and certain things that happen, like, emotionally pulling me through, I'm like, yeah, this game's special.
All right, so this actually ties us to my next one. Also, shout out to the dyslexic people. I'm also dyslexic. Woo! So there we go.
Yeah, you go.
You can do it. But so I got Integrate on my PS5 installed right now. Have not started it only because I'm the type of person, like, if it's gonna be something lengthy and stuff, I need to be in the mindset where, like, I'm not playing anything else. I need to give my attention.
Like 10 hours, 10 to 15 hours.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's good. But I will tell you. Yeah. I will tell you why I didn't play it. It's because it's also on my Game of the Year list. It came out this year, and to me, it's a new game, and they added new content, so whatever, it's on the list. But I never.
The whole game doesn't count, just the DLC. Wait, you haven't played? Wait.
I've never played Mass Effect. Not even.
Mass Effect.
Oh, okay. Which I was gonna say.
Okay. I haven't played Mass Effect either, so that's fine. I thought you were going to say you haven't played 7 Remake yet. I was about to start screaming.
Oh, no. The remake's done, got the trophies, just need to play the DLC. Great game. Everything you said is true. But I've never played 1 minute of Mass Effect. It got to the point where I was like, man, I was in college when I think 3 it came out in college. I missed 1. And I knew it was the type of game where it's like, well, I can't play 3. I got to play, like, the first ones or whatever. And then it just got away from me, and I was just like, I'm just going to assume it's great. People won't shut up about it. It probably is. So I finally got the Legendary Edition, popped that bad boy in. I played through 1, and I was like, I get it now, people. I get it. So immediately, started 2. And Integrate had came out at that point. I was like, well, I got to play through this. 2, loved it. Had to play 3. And now that I've played the game, especially back to back to back, that's some ungodly amount of hours. I'll just say that. And I'm just like, you know what? It's going on my Game of the Year list. I normally try to steer away from anything that's a remake in any way, shape, or form, because I'm of the mindset where, like, even if it's great, this is still technically not new content, quote unquote. You could pick either side of that argument to stand on. This 100%. But this is the first remake game that's made me switch my thought process, because I always been like, nah, you can't put them there. Regardless of how great they are, you can. But now I'm like, okay, no, yes, you can. You can. It is there. That game was so good where I'm just like, well, I'm happy I played it now because I didn't have to wait, and 2, I get to play with the improvement. So it was everything people made it out to be and more, in my opinion. And I rarely ever add the tagline "and more." And
Yeah,
so
I haven't played. I played Mass Effect 1 back on the 360, and was just like, oof, this is a poor man's Gears of War cover-based shooter. No, thank you. Which obviously it's way more than that. I understand that, but I was just like, no, not for me, not for me. What else have I got on this list that I've really enjoyed? Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. Really enjoyed that. I don't get to talk about PlayStation as much as I'd like, just because mainly focus on Xbox. But yeah, man, this is my first Ratchet and Clank game, and it did a great job. I don't think it did enough to really make my game of the year, just because of the way it was like sold as like this game changing. And I think that not only they sold it as it, but Sony fans themselves sold it as like, the SSD is going to be so fast, we're going to be jumping from world to world, and this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And in the end of the day, it's not quite that. It's not quite how the game works. It's still fun. It's still a great time. The graphically, it's one of the best looking games I've ever looked at. Like, it's like looking at a Pixar film, but I'm playing it, which is diabolical crazy. It's just like, wow, this is mad. But yeah, it didn't do enough to probably make it my game of the year. But those Hitman, Ratchet and Clank, and what else did I say? And Final Fantasy. Those are probably my three top ones. Yeah.
Yeah, my 3 top ones currently is probably gonna be Mass Effect, It Takes Two, not Pokemon Unite. It could be headed there, definitely headed there. And then I don't know if I technically have a third one, because I would say Ratchet and Clank. I'm glad you said what you said, because I told someone this and it sounded weird, but I think maybe here you understand me. I told someone that game was good, but in a formulaic way. Like, it's a great game. I'm not gonna.
That's why I love it though. That's why I love it, because of how formulaic it is. I miss that. I miss games where it's, this chapter's ended. And maybe that's because I'm more like, people have complained about the length of the game as well, where like, oh, it's not long enough, and I'm like, it was the perfect length for me. And again, I don't have as much time as I used to have to just sit down and like, I can't platinum games anymore, I can't 1000G games anymore. I just don't have the time. Like, it's always on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So for me, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I get what you mean by the formulaic, but that's actually one of its positives for me.
Yeah, and it's weird because I'm not really saying it's a bad thing. It's just in terms of like, game of the year, the best of the best of the best. I'm like, it could easily be in the conversation, but I just know it was as good as I thought it would be, which is a great thing. Like, I'm with you. The length was like, cool. I'm in. I'm out. I don't have to. It's off my checklist. Cool. But it's like, I feel like knowing what, I expect when I call a game of the year. Ratchet and Clank, probably missed that mark. Definitely a game you should play. Definitely a great game, an experience, you should have if you have a PS5. But, at the end of the year, it depending on how this year goes, I suppose. I don't think it'll be there. I can say right now, Metroid Dread will probably be in my game of the year conversation. Because I think
you ain't played it yet.
I ain't played it yet. I don't care.
You ain't played it yet.
There's some things you just know is gonna be good.
I could have said the same thing about Village. I'm the biggest Resident Evil fan, and Village to me, it's like, it's a great game. It's a great game. It's not in my game of the year though. No way.
I hope so. I really, like you said, Nintendo don't sell hardware; they sell software. I'm just saying.
Their software makes you buy the hardware, yeah.
Yeah. But my point is, it would probably be, I don't know as of now, but we'll see. A lot of things this year where people keep talking about game of the year. Like, I'm gonna say this, I wasn't a fan of Knockout City. Like, when people keep saying that should be part of the conversation, I'm like,
it should.
I just don't see it, man. Maybe I needed to play with a crew. I only solo queue.
Definitely. Oh, definitely. Oh, no. Yeah, you have to play with a crew.
Yeah, I personally didn't have a crew. So I will say maybe if I crew up, that will change my mind. We will see. I still haven't played Death's Door, but, that's on the to-do list. that's on the to-do list. If I had played it now, maybe I'd be like, oh, Death's Door, oh, greatest thing ever, sliced bread.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll see. I'm really curious how the rest of this year is gonna pan out, because I'm not saying that the best days are already behind us, but I'm wondering if they are in terms of this year.
No way. 12 minutes for me. 12 minutes. Madden, Psychonauts 2, Big Rumble Boxing, Life is Strange True Colors, Far Cry 6, Back 4 Blood, Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes, Battlefield, Mario Party Superstars, Forza Horizon 5, Dying Light. I haven't even got Halo on this list. No way. We still got some great games coming.
Man, all right. Let me be real. 12. I'll give you 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Dying Light 2, I don't know. That's still a big question mark for me. That's still a big question mark. It's been in development for a long time. It's had some ups and downs. That's the point where I'm like, that game needs to come out, you know, and I hope everything, you know, does what it needs to do. Mario Party, it should be. It's basically remixed versions of all the best things of Mario. It should be good. Nintendo has done some wonky things before.
It's got online, and we finally get what we actually want. It's like, wow, out of the box, you finally did the thing we wanted.
Yeah, so Mario Party, I'm like, Forza, miss. You could, you know, if that's your jam, cool. Game of the year, I'm like, Pretty Car Go Fast, okay.
Absolutely not. How dare you? How dare you? Battlefield?
Battlefield? I've always liked Battlefield in concept more than in practice.
Shooty guns in the head. Solid.
That's just me. I think Battlefield, what they do, you know, in their massive multiplayer arenas, I think that is cool. I think that is great that it works the way they say it works. That's just not my type of game. But Battlefield, it's almost like, oh yeah, because I see the trailers look crazy, insane, especially with the storms, the jumping out. I'm like, this looks bananas in the best possible way. So okay, I'll give you Battlefield. I already said 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Maybe. What else did you say?
Back 4 Blood.
That's the.
We all love Left 4 Dead. But now Back 4 Blood's coming. Everyone's like, I don't know. Shooting zombies? That's kind of like 10 years ago. I love it. Me, I'll shoot all the zombies. Give me all the zombies, all right?
So out of that list of games, I give you maybe 2 of them.
That's fair.
I
mean, I can only pick 3 of my top ones. So of 3, I've got 2 more maybe added. It's a good year.
Yeah,
it's a good year.
Yeah, that's a good year. You know, games are fun, people. Don't come at me and like, if your best game this year was, you know, like My Little Pony's expansion of Equestria Live, then, you know, you're doing it right.
Shout out to the My Little Pony crew.
Yeah, shout out Bronies for Life or whatever the thing is. I'm not insulting them. If that is your jam, and I'm a Pokemon stan,
100%.
you know, so, you know, I will rock that until the day I die. And Klonoa crew, yeah, he's unheard of, but if you play the games, they're amazing. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm curious to see what the rest of you got. I really feel in my heart of hearts there has to be something dropping this holiday that we don't know about. Cause I'm looking. I know a lot of big things got delayed, but I'm really looking at the map, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like Far Cry 6, Far Cry. See, here's my thing about Far Cry. I love the games. I never finished them. That's my series of games that I never finish.
I always finish a Far Cry, baby. I love Far Cry. Love it.
And I can't tell you why. I usually have like a home or two where like, yeah, Far Cry, you know. And then at like the 20-hour, 30-hour mark, we drop off, like never to be heard from again.
I find what I try and do, and everyone's different, right? But I try and mainline most games now. And then if I really like the game, I'll go back and do side stuff.
I mean, that's fair.
Which isn't the way you should play it. You should play it like a bit of this, a bit of that. But I find if I don't mainline, I won't get to the end. And then I'm like 60 hours into a game that I've not beaten, and that just frustrates me more than even not playing the game in the first place. I'm like, how did it happen to me with Assassin's Creed Origins? No, not Origins, sorry, the newest one, Valhalla. Like, I've put so many hours into it, and I'm just like, my fiance's playing it, and she's like, yeah, I'm 100 hours deep. I'm not even close to the end. I'm like, what have you been doing? She's like, there's so much to do. I'm just like, oh, God, no. No, thank you.
I mean, you're 100% right. There's some games that do it right where you're just like, oh, I could be lost in this world forever. But those games are few and far between. Very few and far between.
Yep.
So, I'm interested to see. I'm expecting some surprises. Honestly, I'm going to need Bloomberg to stop reporting on things or just everybody, because this has been a major year for people saying stuff is going to happen and then it keeps not happening, and my heart can't take it no more.
That's life in video games, friend.
I was like, I kid you not, when they announced the Switch OLED, I almost flipped my computer. I was like, what is this? What is this? Because think about it, every article, every day, every week was like, Switch 4K is coming, 60 frames per second, teraflops.
Who are you believing and reading? Stop reading these weird Reddit articles, my dude. Like, come on.
No, okay, I'm over exaggerating, but you get everyone was basically,
of course.
It wasn't gonna have no teraflops, but it was almost like a for sure thing. It was like when people tell you Jesus is coming back, they say it with their chest. This is happening. I'm not saying he's not people, but I'm saying that's how people were telling me. It was like, oh, here's a big when old people tell you you're in the end of days. This was people about, hey, the 4K Switch is coming out. You better be ready. I hope you're right, because it's coming. It's coming. And then it was like, you thought. I honestly think at this point, Nintendo hears what everyone is saying, and it goes, hey, marketing, we're not doing that no more. Nah, not.
Do the opposite. Do the opposite of what they said. Add a Ethernet port and make it OLED. Perfect.
Done deal. But hey, everyone, we're out of time this week. I want to thank MC Fixer for joining me for this great episode with our strong opinions. But we have strong opinions, and no one got hurt because you do it with love. Exactly. That's how you do it.
100%.
That's how you do it. But real quick, man, where can the people find you, keep up with, see your stuff, interact with you, all that good stuff?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at MC Fixer, Facebook, Twitter. Usually I'm still on Facebook, I know. Facebook, Twitter, IG, Twitch is my main thing. I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in my time zone, being BST at the current moment, usually 10 o'clock till 5, depends on what I'm doing, depending on what's going down. My main thing is my main YouTube channel. I've got a couple of YouTube channels, but youtube.com/mcfixer or youtube.com/moremcfixer, or last but not least, I know, very long, I apologize, my Xbox and me. So you can find me everywhere at all those socials, but MC Fixer, if you type it in, I'll be there.
That's what's up. And you can find me everywhere, older Harmon Jr. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gotta be Twitter. Some people follow me on Facebook and stuff, bro. I ain't gonna add you. I'm just not.
Yeah. I got my fan page, and I've got my Twitter. That's about it. I'm like, yeah, that'll do. And my Insta. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but everywhere else, I'll reach out. I need to be on Instagram more these days. I'm not hot enough. The algorithm has destroyed me, so I'm like.
Oh, me too. Trust me. Us bigger men, they don't like us. Let me tell you, they don't like us.
But and also, if you want to throw a couple bucks my way, we got a Patreon, FC Productions, where you can find it. Shout out to the Patreons: Gabriel Garcia, Rachel Coleman, Beck Rice, Ryan Frazier, Gabriel Cleveland. As always, if you're a Patreon and want to be on the show, all you're just gonna do is let me know. But people, I say this every show: you can like, share, and subscribe for free $99. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't need your money. You can give it to me, but hit that like button, ring that bell, all that stuff them people on the internet say. But as always, people, have a great week. Be blessed. We'll see you next time.
Bye.